Hey everybody, welcome back to Impact. My name is Toonboy2K and welcome to Before the Impact. And let's get into tonight's show. In a terrible pre-show match, Tucker Cooper. I had to rename him Tucker Cooper because I want to call him Tucker, but it's already taken. Defeated Paul Goodlooks in 3:43 by pinfall with the Project Mayhem. Goodlooks is a regen who brought into Impact. So I've got to build him up over the next few weeks. So he'll be on pre-show matches. And hopefully we'll get him up in the next few months. Got a 25. He only got a 4. Tucker got a 44. But as I said, he's got a biker gimmick. Um, Seems like we've got to build him from there. So we'll see how it goes. Also, I've signed Excalibur and to the commentary team. So it'll be Excalibur and I do want to say D'Lo Brown for Before the Impact. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. 25 overall. In a poor pre-show match, Falabaha and Norway defeated the Das Hit Squad. I think that's it. Desi Hit Squad. 7:28. Sharia was the weak link. Sharia got a 24. 39. I can't pronounce these names. I'm not going to lie. So I'll butcher them and we'll get on with it. Ruit with a 39. Norway with a 34. And Fala with a 34. 36 overall. At least I admit I can't see it. And a decent pre-show match. Su Young defeated Jordan Grace 7:22 by pinfall with the Yellow Fever. I haven't used the knockouts as good as I should, and I apologise about that, but I'm going to try and build them up again. 46 for Jordan Grace, 42 for Su Young. Su Young even, 46 overall. So we start the show, of course, with the opening and recap from last week's Impact. Of course, Kevin Steen even, going to take a while to get used to that again, joined Impact and we all thought he was joining Bryan Alvarez, his Domination group, but he turned his back and decided to, we'll maybe we'll find out now why he did that. 68 overall for that one. And then Mickey James speaks about what happened last week. And he said, Melina, you want the brawl? Well, this week on Impact, you get your title shot, but it's going to be no rules. So it's going to be a bit of an extreme, hardcore match between them two. It's been brewing for a while. We'll see it tonight on Impact. It is for the Knockouts title, 53 overall. In a decent match, Donna Perrazzo defeated Mercedes Martinez in 8:18 by submission. 45 overall, Martinez, 47, Donna Perrazzo got a 55. And a freestyle segment, Josh Matthews has grabbed Scott D'Amore, and Scott is saying, Mr. Alvarez is on his way to the building. He's going to sort everything out after what happened last week. Kevin Steen is not going to get away with what he did. For goodness sake, Josh, you've got me at the wrong time. Impact's coming up and we're going to sort this, don't worry. Scott D'Amore, very, very flustered for the interview. 34 overall. And you can tell that there's some... Bryan Alvarez is not going to be happy here tonight. In a decent match, the main event, Ace Austin defeated Laredo Kid and Mike Bailey in 8:05 with Ace Austin pinning Mike Bailey with the House of Cards. Austin 51, Kid 50, Bailey 45, 52 overall for the match. Also means Ace Austin will get a shot for the digital media title next week here on Before the Impact. So good luck to him against Steve Macklin, who's got the title. 52 overall. Show gives us a 54. I think that's one of our best ratings, to be honest, for Before the Impact. Decent show. Let's now go on to Impact proper. We'll do that in just a short bit. And welcome to Impact in front of 300 people at Center Stage. We have the opening, of course, with the recap of last week, which scores us a 70. Of course, the shocking debut of Kevin Steen to Impact, and of course, his betrayal of Bryan Alvarez and Domination. at the end of last week's show. And we kick things off with Kevin Steen in the middle of the ring. He has a contract in his hand. And Kevin Steen says, well, this is the impact zone, is it? This is what I have been signed to. I am, you know who I am. I'm Kevin Steen. And this is my contract from Impact Wrestling, my very lucrative contract from Impact Wrestling, which Bryan Alvarez signed and give me. And well, Mr. Alvarez, he said anything I wanted. Well, I got what I wanted, and that is a title shot for the Impact World Championship, and I want that at the next pay-per-view. And Steen is just taking in the crowd. The crowd know that he's done one over on Bryan Alvarez and Domination. But then Josh Alexander walks down to the ring. Alexander gets in the ring and he says, look, Kevin, I know who you are. There's no need to explain, but just be sure that I'm still looking for this championship. I've been screwed out of this championship too many times, and I still want this championship. You will just be another roadblock in my way. And before Kevin can say that was a 54 for that one, for anything, Bryan Alvarez comes on the screen and he says, guys, listen, congratulations, Kevin. You got one over on us. But you see, this is not a game that you can win. Bryan Alvarez will always win. I own Impact Wrestling, and I now own Kevin Steen. So tonight, we're going to see you two in a ring teaming up against my boys in Domination. And we'll see if who is laughing by the end of tonight. A 73 rated segment for that one. As we go to a segment backstage, is Ace Austin gives us a 33 when he is backstage saying, well, it looks like I'm now #1 contender to 2 titles here on Impact next week. I'm going to win the Digital Media Championship, and when Trey Miguel manages to get his ass back from his injury, I'm going to take the X Division title as well, and you can call me AC2 belts. And the crowd you can hear the crowd just go, oh no, as a 33 rated segment for that one. We go into our first match of the night, extremely short match. Jonah defeats Rich Swann, in 448 by pinfall with the Death Drop Driver. 24 overall, 41 for Jonah and 37 for Rich Swann. They just didn't click, so it looks like we're going to have to put that on the Don't Do Again list. So that is me writing down saying don't do that again. After the match, though, the Bullet Club come down for a 45 and take out Rich Swann. Jay White, Crispy, and Morrissey come down, and the Bullet Club come down and continue their beatdown on Rich Swann. And for a 50-rated segment, Donna Perazzo has talked about the upcoming Knockouts title match. She's saying that she doesn't care who wins. She just wants the next shot at whoever manages to walk out with the Knockouts Championship. And that match is up next. And in a decent match for 51, Mickie James defeats Melina in 544 by pinfall with the Mickey DDT. Mickie James makes defense number 4 of the Impact Knockout title. Mickie James with a 51 and Melina with a 41. They have great chemistry and it showed in their performance, so maybe we should keep this going forward. And you've got to see good segment 51 overall. As we go to the next segment, which is Mickie James has the title in the ring for 51. She's got through the hardcore match. The weeks have gone back and forth between these two, and Mickie James comes out the victor. And then in a decent match, Cassie Lee defeats Rosemary in 534 with the leg sweep DDT for a 47. Rosemary with a 40 and the Cassie Lee with a 44. Rosemary off her game, and they're going to have to pick it up if they want to try and get the tag team titles off the Inspiration. And backstage, Kevin Steen is talking, is just, sorry, by himself when Josh Alexander walks up to him. This is for a 71 rated segment. Steen is just saying, what? And Alexander says, look, we know we're going for this title. We're going to be opposite each other, but tonight if we're going to get through this, we've just got to be a unit for one night. And Steen agrees and nods. He says, Alexander says, look, Steen, I know what you're like. You don't play well with others, but tonight I'm going to say one thing. You step out of line, and I'll be the first one to hit you. But if you have my back, I'll have yours. Steen agrees, and we end the segment at a 71. In a decent match, Brian Myers and Zicky Dice defeat Matt Cardona and Heath in 6:30 when Brian Myers pinned Heath with the quick cradle for a 45, Heath with a 41, Cardona 47, Dice with a 35, and Myers with a 41. And, well, again, it looks like the Learning Tree have pulled one over on Matt Cardona for a 45. This feud will continue. Then backstage, in his office, Bryan Alvarez is there when Moose and David Boy Smith Jr. come in. Scott Demores are there in the background as always. And Bryan Alvarez is like, look, guys, I want you to go out there and make a statement tonight. Domination has to show that we're not pushovers. Go out there, take Steen out, take Alexander out, and let's get the job done. Moose just nods. Davey Boy Smith is still not happy after what's happened the last few weeks, but he walks out. 50 rated 7 segment for that one. And then Johnny Gargano is shown walking down the hall. He is ready for his next matchup. This gets us a 59. And then he defeats Eric Young in 6:57 by submission with the Croston Crab. Johnny Gargano got a 65, Eric Young with a 45 for a 52 rated segment for a match even. And then a freestyle segment called Hennigan is doing something backstage. Well, he was stretching backstage when the Good Brothers come up to him and look a bit like, what's he doing kind of thing. But anyway, Carl Hansen goes up to him and says, John, we need a third person for our tag match next week. Do you want to be our partner? Hagen jumps up, goes, sure, why not? You guys are good, aren't you? And then walks off. Doc just looks and just shrugs. 58 rated segment. We all get the 6-man tag with these three gentlemen against Finn Juice and a partner of their choosing. And then in a good match, Kevin Steen and Josh Alexander defeat Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Moose in 10:08, with Kevin Steen pinning Davey Boy Smith with the package pile driver. In terms of in-ring work, Kevin Steen was head and shoulders above everyone else. Moose sustained a sprained ankle. Oh no, that's not good. Kevin Steen and Josh Alexander don't work well as a team. Okay, that's good. So because we're never going to do that again. Kevin and Josh team no. Let's have a look. So 58 rated segment for that one. 49 for Josh, 68 for Kevin, 56 for Moose, and 46 for David Boy Smith. And then, yeah, we know that's not good. And then in a freestyle segment called Moose tried to get a cheap shot in, but was both Steen and Alexander hit him. Moose rolls out the ring, but the title is between Alexander and Steen, and they just look at it and look at each other as the show goes off the air, with just that visual of the title between really all three men, but in the ring it's Steen and Alexander, one other side. 65 overall for that. I hope the injury's not too bad. 63. That's a very good rating for us. We'll take that. We would have gained popularity in one Canadian region, but growth was restricted due to the number of viewers. But 300 people, I hope they enjoyed it. I think it was 63.